Shalom, everybody, and today we study Parashat Korach, the book of Numbers, chapter 16, verse 1. Parashat Korach is dealing with a very same question that we had last week. How many times did we debate with ourselves about what's the right decision? How do I get away from making mistakes? We know, we spoke about it last week, but here it is, it's going on again. How come, we have in this parasha, Korach, and in previous parasha, and next two parashot, about stories of great, wise, even righteous people, very knowledgeable people, very prosperous people, who made terrible mistakes in their decision-making, and the result cost them their lives. And a lot of people that got messed up with them and listened to them, they also fell apart like in a very disastrous way. So the question is, are we talking about bad-mouthing people that lived some 33 centuries ago that the Torah is talking about? Or is this a message from the Torah to us, each one of us right now, today, basically to warn us that our thinking, logic is so tricky that we get ourselves in trouble so easily. And what kind of repercussions should we take in order to make the right choices, or even just to stay out of trouble? So let us lay out the story of this parasha. In this parasha, it says, the beginning of what we just said, chapter 16, verse 1, the book of Numbers. Vayikach Korach ben Yitzhar ben Kehat ben Levi. He speaks about Korach, and his family lineage is being mentioned over here. He was the son of Yitzhar, the son of Kehat, the son of Levi. So he was a great-grandson of Levi. He was a cousin of Moses and Aaron. He was from a very highly respected family. Not just this, he was a sage by his own right. He was one of the greatest sages of the generation. He was one of the great leaders of the people. He was also the richest person in the Israelite nation. And even till today, when you tell about somebody that he's so rich beyond any imagination, you say in Hebrew, Ashir keKorach, rich as Korach. 33 centuries later, he's still being remembered as the richest person of his generation. So, and the question is like this, so what's happening? That the name of the parasha is after him. He has a whole parasha after his name. However, the first word of the parasha gives us the whole hint, Vayikach, and he took. He doesn't say what he took, but that's a problem. He was about, I'm here to take. Problem, like we're talking about a first cousin of Moses, a sage, a very wise man. Not many people were on his level. So, and it does say what did he take, but on verse 2 it says that he basically created the political movement, and they got up in front of Moses. They came in front of Moses. 250 leaders of the congregation, people of a great name, all of them leaders. And what did they do? He made them, like he did a real, very important, very powerful political work. They ganged on Moses and Aaron, that's verse 3, ויקהלו על משה ועל אהרון, ואמרו עליהם, רב לכם, כי כל העדה כולם קדושים. It's like you had too much. The whole congregation is holy. Everybody is equal. We all experience on Mount Sinai the same the same epiphany. We all had the same prophecy. God is among each one of us. Why are you patronizing? Why are you putting yourself on top of everybody else? On the congregation of God. Verse 4, Vayishma Moshe vayipol al panav. Moses hears that and he falls over his face. He's like speechless. Rashi has an amazing expression saying about it. He immediately fell on his face, mipnei hamachloket. He smelled, he felt the terrible poison of dispute. שזה כבר זה בידם סירחון רביעי. This is, Rashi says, this is the fourth stink already. What's the fourth? They sinned with the golden calf. That's the first one. And Moses prayed, he fought with his life to save the Israelites from being smitten. Then they complained, Parashat Baalotcha, and then Moses prayed for them. The third was with the spies, that's last week. And then Moses was praying for the congregation of Israel also. Because God said, enough with these people. And now this is the fourth time and Moses he can't anymore. He's losing it. How can I protect the nation again? Nitrashlu yadav. Rashi says he was helpless. And Rashi brings whatever Rashi is saying, it's not, he didn't invent it. He found it in ancient writings from years earlier. And he says this is like the story of the son of a king that made a stink that really upset his father, the king. And there was a person that was the king's best friend. The king really trusted him. And every time the prince, the son of the king, messed up, the friend of the king came to the father and said, he can't, don't think it's like, simply he appeased the king, the father. Once, twice, three times. The fourth time, the best friend of the king is like, what can I say? It's like, it's a fourth time already. What can I say? How can I protect, defend the son of the king right now? He's like, this is the fourth time already. This is a habit. How long can I bother the king with my appeals? Maybe he's not going to listen to me anymore because of that. So Moses falls over his face. He gets up, and then that's verse 5. He says as follows. וידבר אל קורח ואל כל עדתו. What was their wish, basically? They said, how come, Moses, you made your brother the high priest? We are all holy. We can all be the high priest. Why Aaron? Each one of us can be the high priest. Each one of us can wear the ephod, the breastplate, wear the Urim v'Tumim. Each one of us can go into, we are all very holy. Doesn't it say that we are all equal? We all loved by God. We all God's children. It says so very clearly. Moses knows it's a problem. Although they said the right thing. They didn't lie. They were right. We are all God's children. We're talking about all of them. Everybody stood on Mount Sinai. Everybody received the Torah. Why can't they be the high priest? So Moses says to them, tomorrow morning, we'll make the test. You want to be the high priest? What's the most beloved, happiest action of the high priest? It is bringing the offering of the incense. So tomorrow morning, Zot asu, verse 6. This is what you should do. Each one of you should take uh, the serving plate for the incense, put fire on them, put the incense on the fire, and you will go and offer the incense to God. And then God will choose the right person. And then he's warning them, it's enough, you guys. Okay? Now, the question is like this. What is Moses doing over here? He's doing something really, what's the word? Extreme. Why? If you remember Parashat Shmini, few months earlier, there was the dedication of the tabernacle. It was the new moon of Nisan, first day of Nisan, and Aaron and Moses, they basically dedicated the temple. The fire came upon the incense and the offering, and the whole nation saw the glory of God. And then in the midst of that moment, greatest moment since Mount Sinai revelation, the two sons of Aaron, Nadav and Avihu, who were the greatest souls that ever walked on earth, they came from the highest place of any soul that ever walked on earth. They wanted also to experience that closeness to God, and they ran into the tabernacle with the incense. What happened? The whole nation saw what happened. A fire came and killed them at once in an instant. They both died, and the party was over. Everybody was present watching that. Everybody was aware there's only one high priest, which means what Moses said, tomorrow, all of you 250 great men, you will serve, bring an offering of the incense, only one of you will survive. The one that God will choose, because there cannot be more than one high priest who brings the offering. Either it's going to be Aaron, and then neither of you will survive, or maybe God will choose somebody else. But that means you're running into a risk of, sure death. Your chances to survive is so slim to none. Are you going to do that? They had no problem with it. Like, how could people go into such a moment of such blunder? So we cannot judge those people, and we are not just talking bad about them. We don't know them. The question is, why is the Torah giving us a story? And the story is basically telling us how risky it is for people to be so sure about their rights. And where is this coming from that you can make such a terrible decision? And we're reading the Torah every year because the Torah is giving us every week another way to tap into the tree of life. So the question is, what is that we are looking for? Now, most of you know the rest of the story. Verse 19, ויקל עליהם קורח את כל העדה אל פתח אוהל מועד. So the whole congregation gathered in front of the tabernacle. וירא כבוד אדוני על כל העדה, and the glory of God was seen upon the whole congregation, like on the dedication of the tabernacle a few months earlier. And then what happens, to make it short, you can read the story. I think basically What happened was, let me just make the story short. First of all, Korah and his people and his family, the earth opened its mouth and they were swallowed up into the earth. That's one thing. And the rest of them, the ones that are serving the fire, verse 35, Ve'esh yatz'a me'et Adonai, and fire came from in front of God. ותאכל את 50-200 איש מקריבי הקטורת. And the fire consumed the 250 men who were offering the incense. Basically a terrible story. And what is our lesson? So we'll read a little bit from the Zohar, maybe a lot. Let's see how much time we have, about the idea that was behind it. As we said, Korah was a very learned man. He was a sage of a great magnitude. How could he do that? And the hint, first of all, was in the first word of the Parashah, Vayikach. And he took, which means, what was the problem? When he wanted to be the high priest, it's because he wanted to take something for himself. The glory, the respect, the honor, the closest to God as the only person that can enter the Holy of Holies, the one who lights the menorah every day, the one who offers the incense that really is the highest level that any human ever got as close to God, except for Moses on Mount Sinai. So, but the question was, why is it that he wanted that glory? So, the Zohar is telling us a few secrets. One of them can explain what was Korach's excuse to for himself. You know, we have very good excuses when it comes to making horrible things. Most people don't think they do horrible things. They have excuses. They have some, you know, communism, Nazism, they murdered both of them together. Maybe nobody really knows, but close to 200 million people in the name of improving of society. We're just doing good. We are just doing, we're fastening in the process of the survival of the fittest. We are going to kill all the weak ones, all the ones who are not supportive for the perfect society. So we will kill those people who just, they're on the way, in the way of making society a perfect, beautiful, happy society. So they had a great excuse for killing the Jews, the Gypsies, and then, you know, whoever opposed the Nazi regime. Okay, later on with the communism, it's like to kill all the people who are innovative because they are very selfish and they create different layer. They will create again rich and poor and stuff like this. We have to kill all of those people. So we leave only the right, nice and kind people. We are basically like when you breed dogs or a chicken or whatever, and you know, you do it. Every farmer knows how to do it. So we just breeding people. So we have the perfect race. What about do not kill? We don't believe in the Bible. That's not you know, who cares what the Bible says? If that fits to our, you know, and what was the result? Terrible disaster, terrible cruelty, okay, that was unleashed, which means when people do the worst stuff, and that's about each one of us, I'm not talking about them, I'm talking about each one of us. The human brain is so flexible, we can always find excuses. The question is like this: how does the Zohar can help us to save ourselves from ourselves. This is the problem, because we are so capable of messing up our lives. This is what the Zohar is talking about. Okay, this is what the Torah is talking about, especially during this period of time. So, first of all, the Zohar is giving us kind of what's the excuse that Korah had to give to himself. Why do I need to replace Aaron the high priest? And this is verse 3 in the Zohar Perush Sulam. Tachazi, come and see. Aaron Yemina, Levi Smola. Everybody knew that Aaron, the first Kohen in the lineage of the Kohanim, Aaron was a chariot of the right column, which is loving kindness. Levi Smola. The Levites were the chariot for the left column, judgment. Korah was a Levite. Korah wanted to exchange the right with the left, the Kohanim with the Levites. Begin כך התענש, and therefore he was punished. ולא דלא דשתכח באליש נבישה. However, he also badmouthed Aaron and Moses. והתענש בכולה, and he was punished for both of them. רבי יהודה אמר, שמאלה התקלל תדיר בימינה, הכוח בא להחלפת תיקונה דללה ותתה, בגין כך התאבד מאלה ותתה. Rabbi Yehuda says, we have to understand that the left column, the judgment, we all have left column, every human being. Why? If you don't breathe in, you can't breathe out. If you don't make money, you cannot give charity. Okay? If you're not happy, you cannot make other people happy. And this is very simple. Love others as you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, how can you love others? If you're not if you're not achieving a level of well-being, how can you be of help to anyone? Which means, yes, as human beings, we need to develop our left column since we are born. And that means we cannot oppress, suppress people. We need to teach people, since they're little, that you have all the rights in the world to want, to desire, to dream, to aspire for greatness, because you're born for greatness. However, one condition. What's in it for others also, right? Which means, if you want to start, we said it many times, if you want to start something of great success, the first thing is to start with the right foot. What does that mean? Is that just a bad omen if you got into the business with the left foot? No, I explained many times. Just the first thing is, what is the value that I want to share with humanity? You want to make a lot of money? No problem. Why not? Okay. You want to be a great leader? Why not? Whatever you aspire to achieve. But the first thought should be, what is the value that I would like to share with people? Because if I want to be successful just so I have a lot of money, just so I have a lot of fame, just so I have a lot of power, this is vayikach. This is the biggest disease. What will be the result? Either the earth will swallow you up or the fire will consume you. You won't end in a good place. You cannot start with the left foot. You cannot start with, I'm here to be successful, to be powerful, to have. And we'll think later on, what is that we want to give to others? No, you don't start with the left foot. You don't start with vayikach. The moment what the motivation is, I want to be rich, I want to be famous, I want to be powerful, and that's vayikach, game over. It doesn't matter what you're going to do, game over. You're doing something wrong against the rules of the universe. Why? Rabbi Ashlag is teaching us, the moment the universe was created, the moment, it was not a moment, it was created above time. The universe was created because of one reason. We know about the creator himself that he is a giver, but there's no giving if there's no one who wants to receive. And therefore, his giving created us, the human souls, that we are defined as the desire to receive. What makes us work is need, desire, aspiration, the desire to get fulfilled. This is our motivation. This is the engine. This is what our soul is made of. However, we were created fulfilled because the Creator's giving reciprocated with us being fulfilled. And there was a night, there was a day, one day. Creation, there was a night. Creator, the day. Everything was one, complete oneness. No time, no space. Simple one. No dimensions. Everything was one. 1 point. Why? The sages are teaching us the only way you can have a real oneness is only when it's all 1 point, which means there's no dimensions of anything. That's a oneness. The moment you have more than 1 point, you have we have definition, you have space, you have measurement. It's not one anymore. So why space and time was created? And the answer is we were created in his image, to remind everyone, which means we wanted to create that oneness by ourselves. We needed to feel like we created it. We needed to be generating. We needed to be a creator of our own. We needed to be independent, and we needed to give like the creator. When everything is one, you cannot give. So on the second day, remember, whatever is written in chapter 1 in Genesis, it's a formula. You cannot take it by just the words. Okay, but God is separating the one. He's separating the heaven and the earth, the water above, the water below. It doesn't matter, but separation. Why? Now that the world is not one, we have the journey to reveal our own independence, our own greatness, our own creativity, and our own giving. Therefore, after the Tzimtzum, which means that there was no one anymore, everything was separated. There was space, separation between above and below, light and vessel. At that moment, Rabbi Ashlag is teaching us one of the most important, I think, lessons. The moment there was the Tzimtzum, the moment the one was broken, for the purpose to give us the ability to become a creator in our own life, the creator of our own greatness, the desire to receive could not be anymore a vessel to receive. Why? Because the moment you want to receive, by the law of affinity, you are so the farthest away possible from the eternal light of God. And because of the law of affinity, only similarities can connect. You want to connect to God's light, you need to share. So remember carefully, giving to others, helping others, being there for others. We're not sacrificing anything. We are basically doing ourselves a favor, because the only way we can get ourselves closer to God's light is by creating the frequency of loving kindness, chesed. So why do we need the other? We need other people with needs, and sometimes very upsetting needs. We need them to be around demanding, so we can step up and create the giving that will bring us to connect to God. So receiving just because I want, just because I desire, just because I feel like, is illegal by universal laws, explains Rabbi Ashlag. What does it mean illegal? The same way, there are rules to physics, there are rules for biology, for anything. These rules tell us exactly what works and what doesn't work. You want to go online with the light of the tree of life, with the light of true lasting happiness, fulfillment, and achieving your own fulfillment. The only way is, first of all, you have to start with the right foot, which means loving, kindness, giving. That raises you up to a frequency in which you can connect to the tree of life, to God's light. Then you'll have the power, then you'll have the energy, then you have the wisdom, the ability, the good fortune. You'll be in the zone so you can achieve your goals. But if you're not starting with the right foot, you can have a temporary success. The same way, when there's a short circuit in electricity, it shows not about success. Oh, there's a huge flash, energy, greatness, wow. It's short-lived. Why? It's illegal. It cannot last. Therefore, it's not real. Yeah, but it gives me, taking drugs gives you a high, 20 minutes, an hour, something like this. Whoa, that's legal. That's amazing. Yeah, but what will be the result? Destruction. Because why did you get high? Because you just wanted to achieve something for yourself alone. Remember that. And that's why it cannot survive, and that's why it's going to bring you down. Same thing with Korah and his followers. So, how long will that last? At the end of time, after Judgment Day, when humanity finishes its tikkun and we can move up to the next level, then the left column can return to its first birthright. What does it mean, birthright? Like the story of Jacob and Esau. He had the birthright, Esau. Why? Left column. Judgment. Yes. Why were we created? We were created to receive. Left column was the first goal of the creation. God created every human soul to receive. However, you want to be connected to the image of the Creator, you have to start with giving. Korah came with a great idea. Look, we received the Torah, we have the tabernacle, 12 tribes of Israel, we're studying with Moses, we have Epiphany, the cloud of honor above the camp, Mashiach. Now it's the time to move forward, to bring back the glory of the left column to its place. Because what is that God wants us? He wants us to receive the whole 9 yards, 10 yards, not 9. The whole 10 yards, the whole 10 sefirot, with Keter, Chokhmah, and Binah, everything you need for that to give the glory of the left column back to its place. It was not the time. It was correct, but it's not the time. It says also in Ezekiel, the time will come, the Levites will be the Kohanim. Okay, we're not there yet. So he had the logical explanation, but that brought his demise. How do we prevent ourselves from falling so low? And the answer is simple, verse 4 in the Zohar of this parasha. Shoel vayikach. What does it mean, vayikach? What do you mean he took? And the answer is he took a bad advice. Lakach etzah ra'a le'atzmo. And what's the etzah ra'a? What's the bad advice? כל הרודף אחר שאינו שלו, הוא בורח מפניו. Whoever tries to get what doesn't belong to him, it runs away from him. How would Korach know that? ולא מה שיש לו נאבד ממנו. If you try to get what doesn't belong to you, you're not going to get it, it's not yours. and whatever you have, you're going to lose it. קורח רדף אחר שאינו שלו שלא עבד, ואחר לא הרוויח. קורח wanted what belongs to somebody else, to Aaron. He didn't get it, and he lost his own because the earth swallowed him up. Nothing. He got nothing out of it. But how do I know what doesn't belong to me? You know, one person wants a certain job, okay? He thinks he can do a lot of good with that job, okay? So you're not supposed to aspire, you're not supposed to have ambition, you're not supposed to, but maybe it's not my job. Very simple. Verse 5, how do I know? Korach halach b'machloket. Korach created a dispute. He created a fight, a quarrel, hatred, not unity, not peace. What does it mean, dispute? Mahu machloket? Hachaka v'dichui. Machloket, in Hebrew, the word machloket comes from the word chelek, lechalek, to separate, to split. The fact that he, in order to achieve his goal, he could only badmouth Moses and Aaron. He had to have, like, you know, the red light should have come, like, you know, I want the job. I think I can do it better than anybody else, better than Aaron, but the price is too high. Fighting, dispute, bad-mouthing, creating an uproar of like, the cost for my soul is too high. We have to be aware of this. We have to be careful about it. Because as Zohar continues, the moment you create dispute out of hatred, upset, getting people angry about each other, you create a separation not just among people, you create a separation between you and the tree of life. מי שרוצה לדחות תיקון העולם יהיה נאבד מכל העולמות. Because the tikkun olam, making the world better, can be only through shalom. Shalom does not mean peace. Peace is a word that is also in Hebrew. The letters Pei Yud Samech, peace, exist in Hebrew. It means to make people not fight. Shalom comes from another root, shalem, whole, complete, which means to make people live in harmony, feeling like they can't without each other. This is what shalom means. Shalom doesn't mean a cold peace in which, you know, at least we don't fight with each other. Shalom means we are not complete without each other. We cannot without each other. This is the tikkun olam, the real tikkun olam. The real tikkun olam is about harmony, is about working together, about cooperation and so on. Whoever brings to the world hatred, doesn't matter if your goal is kosher, I don't know who made this goal kosher. The moment the way is about hatred, separation, and dispute, you cannot achieve, you are basically delaying the tikkun olam. You delay the correction of the world, of humanity. And therefore, mi shecholek al shalom, whoever disputes of shalom, cholek al shmo kadosh, he is disputing God, his holy name. Mishum sheshmo kadosh nikra shalom, because one of the holy names of God is shalom. Verse 6, Bo'eh, come and see. Ein ha'olam omed ela al shalom. The world can stand, can exist, can thrive only over shalom. And we can see that societies that were based on harmony, not persecution, not, you know, the idea of creating a society that is multicultural. For instance, like, let's go to the ancient times. The Babylonians did not last too much because they destroyed any culture that was not them. The Assyrians, the same story. But the ones that really lasted for many years was the ancient Persian Empire. Why? They were based on shalom, which means allowing each culture to be whoever they want to be as long as they cooperate with everybody else. That's why the Persian Empire survived for so many centuries. And even after Alexander the Great conquered the Persians, finally they came back to power for more millennia. Why? They were kind of more tolerant to everybody. That's why the Jewish communities in the Persian Empire for many, many millennia flourished because of that idea that shalom means that we need you the way you are, and we want your contribution from where you're coming from, as long as you do not dispute shalom. Okay? So we can say also the world civilization after World War II was based on, live and let live, cooperate with each other, do not try to subdue somebody else because it's different, allow everyone to flourish and prosper the way they want. That was very successful. But now we have different voices of trying to use that freedom that was created for a better thing. They call it a better thing, but the moment it's coming from hatred, from dispute, for suppression, we know this is any kind of a movement that is based on suppression is basically the left column. And that means disputing shalom. And that means delaying the tikkun olam. And that means they're going to destroy their own selves because it doesn't work. Come and see. אין העולם עומד אלא על שלום. The world can survive, stand, flourish only based on shalom. And shalom means that everybody complete everybody else without trying to be like everybody else. כשברא הקדוש ברוך הוא את העולם, when the creator created the universe, לא היה יכול להתקיים, the world could not exist. There was too much judgment. עד שבא וישרה עליהם שלום, till God brought shalom to the universe. How? Shabbat. Why do we say Shabbat Shalom? Because Shabbat is once in 7 days that the true essence of Shalom descends to the world. When you choose Shabbat, when you choose to connect to the frequency of Shabbat, you can really connect to the idea of Shalom. And this is basically kind of a calibration, weekly calibration, to realize what is Shalom about. So let's continue, because still we didn't get the complete answer of how do we do that. So we can find it later on in the Zohar. Verse 30 in the Zohar Parashah Sulam. It says, it's a commentary on a verse in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9, where it says, the few verses, just a second. No, this is Proverbs chapter 3. I think this is not the, just a second. This is Ecclesiastes 9:10, which says, whatever, it's very hard to explain, but it says like the simple translation is, whatever your hand finds to do it with your power. Do it. And the Zohar is saying we have to contemplate on that verse. Because that I'm reading in verse 29. And the Zohar is asking, well, King Solomon, that was blessed by a divine wisdom. Why did he say so? In verse 30, it says like this, all the words of King Solomon were said with real true wisdom, the secret of true wisdom. Come and see. What is this verse about? זהו שהאדם צריך לכלול לשמאל בימין. It says there's a secret that every action that we do, we have to make sure that the right column is taking over the left column. What does it mean? Which means whatever you do should be under the right column. What is the right column? This is giving, loving kindness. If there's no loving kindness, you cannot find loving kindness. Don't do it. You're not ready. To remind us, the same verses we speak about when we have the story that repeats itself. Once with Hillel the Elder, we're talking about over 2,000 years ago, and Rabbi Akiva, a century later. What is the pillar the whole Torah is standing about? And the answer is love others as you love yourself, which means basically it's the answer to everybody who's asking, how do I know that I'm doing the right thing? And the answer of both sages, both were the greatest leaders of their generation. If you want, how do you know that you're doing the right thing or not? Check inside your heart. If you find love, if you find the energy of love, right column, that is within you, which is forgiveness, mercy, kindness towards other people, you know you are on the right direction. But if you find in your heart judgment towards other people, they annoy you, you know that who is ruling right now in your heart? The left column. What does it mean? It doesn't mean you're doing the wrong thing. It means that you're going to fail. Why? Because we're not here to do the right things. We're here to do it right. And the right is always right. Right means that you have love. And if you have love, you will be connected to the tree of life. Tree of life, and when you're connected to the tree of life, the right thoughts will come to your mind. So whoever has holy hatred, there's no holy hatred. Hatred is unholy. Whoever has the holy fire of holy war to kill the infidels and all the bad ones, the moment it's hatred, the moment it's negativity, impatience, intolerance, we are off course. We have to get back to course. And that means loving, kindness, sharing, in the small things. That's how you check yourself. That's what Hillel the Elder, Rabbi Akiva said. The moment everybody annoys you, don't trust yourself. The moment you're doing everything you can, and you have one thing that is overruling everything, how the right column, which means how do I really care for others? So when I can find forgiveness in my heart, when I can find love to people, unconditional love, doesn't mean I have to agree with them, but it means that I'm connected to the tree of life, and that means I'll get the right ideas. I'll hear the right messages. I'll be able to basically make the right decisions. Because otherwise, the moment we let the left column take over, the end is really near. It's going to be bitter. It's going to be painful. It's going to be horrible. So Stay away from hateful people. It doesn't matter what they say. The moment it's hatred, it is dangerous. People are trying to find excuses. They always wave slogans. They always wave slogans, and the slogans always, they try. And basically, they have the best PR. Everybody knows that bad rumors about people, they spread much faster than good rumors. Good actions, they have very small PR, like than bad actions. Okay? So remember that the fact that everybody repeats the same slogan, it doesn't mean it's right. Try to listen to the flavor. If that's spewing anger and hatred and upset and any kind of simmering negativity and judgment, you don't want to go there. Doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter if the idea is great. The idea is amazing, solving all of humanity's problems. We tried it before. It doesn't work. It's becoming more and more disastrous. Be careful of like new great slogans. No. The Torah has all the slogans we need. 24 books. We have some slogans, but if it doesn't matter. If that is being said with, I'm here to take power, money, fame, and it's about hatred and dispute, stay away. This is poison. On the other hand, work hard as possible to create loving kindness within yourself. Do whatever you can through study, reading, meditation, helping others to tire your evil inclination, helping others, going out of your way, being there for others. When Aaron was, we read about it before, a few months ago, when the Zohar was saying, God chose Aaron to be the Kohen Gadol, the high priest. But then the Zohar says, because Aaron's actions made God to choose him, which means when you ask the people of Israel at that time, who is the person who bothers more than anyone else, getting out of his comfort zone just to be there for people without any reward, just because he cared? Everybody will say, Aaron. This is why Aaron became the Kohen Gadol, not because he just wanted the job. He got the job because he was the Kohen Gadol before the job was even available. Did anybody force him? No. He just was that kind of a person. That's why it was very clear he would be the Kohen Gadol. Was Korach known to the people because he's loved to everyone? No. He was aloof. He was the guy with the power and the money and the lineage and so on. He could not be the Kohen Gadol. He wanted what did not belong to him. If you want something, you have to work for it. But also, the love, the kindness is the most important spice in order to get the job done. You cannot be a leader if you don't really love the people you lead. You cannot run a team if you don't really care for them, because when they feel that you care for them, they will be your team. They will team up with each other and with you. But if they feel that you just use them up for your own glory, for your own fame and power and money, that's not a team. That's not a team. This is an amazing, very powerful secret. Look for that, says the Zohar. Look around. You find people that are really caring for others. So go be with them. Do anything you can to be with them. You see people with amazing, great slogans, but they're just spewing hate all the time. Stay away. This is Koach. So כיוון שאדם נזהר שכל מעשיו יהיו לצד ימין, when a person is really careful that all his actions will be on the right side, which means whatever he does, make sure that it's going to be loving kindness there, whatever you do. אז הקדוש ברוך הוא שורה בתוכו, then God dwells within him. Anyone can do that. We're supposed to do it. Each one of us is supposed to do it. This is our calling. This is our greatness. Then he says God dwells within that person in this physical world, not after you die. And then when you pass on, ויאסוף אותו אצלו לעולם הבא הוא. And when the person passes on, God will take him, will collect him, will, like, this is my treasure to the upper world. We can continue and continue. I recommend everybody to read that. But I think that we got the idea, and we need, especially in our generation, especially this time that people are so busy with Vaikach, to take, and they don't understand why you can't find love. Love is not finding somebody who is going to give it all to you. Love is about being ready to be there for someone unconditionally. When it's not easy, when it's tough. It's not easy, but that's our job. Thank you so much. Good luck to all of us.